What did it mean to you to buy a home? Like what was it? Like, is it?
It's a major accomplishment because, like you said, there's not a lot of people my age that's done it, and if so, they're trying to do it or trying to get to that point. So it's a huge accomplishment, especially you have family members that didn't start or didn't do that till later on in the game. So it's a major accomplishment to be in my early 30s and already in home ownership, already having pretty much assets, already having equity. A home is pretty much, it gives you, it's an asset for you. So it's like you own something. And I know a lot of people, the misconceptions, and I'm a little ahead of you, but the misconceptions are when you have a
great
home.
Way to segue. Great way to segue.
The misconceptions are when you own a home, people don't realize that, I've seen different arguments on social media. They're saying, well, you don't really own it, the bank owns it. But you don't realize you have equity in that home. So at any point, if you wanted to sell your home after about 2 years, you can't sell it, early on. But once you gain equity in that home and you sell your home, you sell it back to the bank. But with the market, homes appreciate. They don't lose value, they gain value. So if you decided to sell your home today or tomorrow after you've been in it for a few years, you're gonna come out with a profit. You're gonna come out, say for instance, if your value of your home has went up, especially in this market right now, the value of your home has went up $50,000, $60,000 by the time you decide to sell, guess what you're gonna profit once you sell that home? You're gonna profit that money. That's not the same, you can't do that in an apartment. So although you don't technically own the home until it's paid off, you own equity in the home. So you're gonna cash out when you sell your house. You're not cashing out when you move out your apartment. So I don't think a lot of people are, or a lot of our people are knowledgeable about the benefits of home ownership.
Understood. So rolling on that misconceptions, I know a big one is, in the Black community, is if your credit is bad, it's no way to get a home. Is that factual? Is no way?
It just depends on what you consider bad. Some people might feel like 400. Now 400 is a no. There are criteria that you definitely have to meet in buying a home. Typically, it's 580, and it depends on the loan you have. So FHA, they start at 580, and then it just goes up. Ideally, you want to be at least a 620. Ideally, just because there are, especially for first-time homeowners and different things like that, you have different grants, different homeowner programs that you can qualify for, down payment assistance that you can qualify for, and with that credit point, you can get those things. But in contrast, if you're right at that 580 mark, they're gonna hit you with additional fees due to your credit score being low. So
the higher you get it, the better.
The higher you get it, the better the interest rates, all that stuff. So you don't have to have an extremely high credit score. And when I say highest credit score, I'm thinking like 700, 800. You can have low 600s and still become a homeowner.
That's important. That's important to me because let's say for the people that's around that 580 mark and 600 who thought they may not have a shot, you might be worth looking into. You know what I'm saying? So that's valid. Now here's one thing that I know that I think comes with it is the process is extremely long. Is it like, how's the process? Is it like, I know buying a car is one thing. That process can be lengthy. So what about buying a home?
So it depends on what you consider extremely long.
Okay.
You can close it. It really depends on the lender, and it also depends on the route.
So start to finish, right? So we're going from.
So if you're building from the ground up, of course, you have the building process. So that's about typically these days with COVID and everything, that's about 6 to 8 months. But if you are purchasing a resale home, a home that's already on the market that someone's selling, you can close in as little as 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So 30 days is pretty much standard for closing on a home because you have to go through the process of everything. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of things that is involved with making sure that deal goes through. So 30 days is typically standard for closing on a home, which isn't extremely long because you do your house hunting. As you're waiting on your lease to end, you're waiting. So typically people don't go in the process of buying a home homeless. I mean, typically they don't. So you have somewhere to stay while you're waiting. So as you wait, you're making those preparations. You're doing different things. And by the way, when you're going through the homeowner process or home buying process, do not take out any credit cards. Do not finance anything.
Why not?
Okay, so
it's gonna drop
your score. So if you your lender has you your interest rate at a certain percentage due to your credit score.
Right.
If you finance something, you already know. If you finance something, you get a credit card, you buy a car, anything like that, your credit score is going to drop. And also, what's going to mess up, and a lot of people don't know about DTI until they start the process, is your debt to income ratio.